Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's now 2:59 in the afternoon. We're just about ready to start, but I want to make sure you're hearing me clearly. Can you please type in the chat box three if the sound is okay? Two if you need me to speak louder, more loudly. Um, Type three in the chat box if the sound is perfectly okay. Okay, great. Yeah, so I see trees there. That means if the sound is not okay on your side, maybe you need to log out and then log in again because the others say it's okay. Thank you so much. It's now 3 o'clock and we shall begin our session today on teachers as agents of character formation. My name is Rentoy, and I have been a teacher for more than 30 years. But in the last 11, 12 years, I've spent more time going around the country, going around the world, reaching out to teachers, parents, community leaders to make character formation a top priority. And we are going to cover in this five series of five seminars, webinars, the essential sessions we have in Catalyst, championing character formation. Let's begin. Well, our students today are very different from uh, past generations of young kids, especially for those of you who have been inside the classroom like me for many years. I'm sure you would have noticed a big difference in the character, in the attitude, in the outlook, in the disposition of our students. They are what we call the digital natives. In fact, tomorrow the session is about that, the three essential virtues for the digital generation: grit, resilience, and empathy. Now, our young people today come inside our classroom with an unlit candle telling us, "Ma'am, sir, please light my candle. I don't want to be in the dark anymore." Because the world we live in right now seems to be very dark. I mean, you watch the news, 24 Horas, TV Patrol, News 1PH, CNN, Fox News. It's all about wars locally. It's all about corruption, the investigation, the flood control scam. Um, it's a dark world out there. And then you hear about rallies left and right, protests finished and upcoming, and there's no end to it. Now, I'm sure we're affected. You and I somehow are affected by these things. But please remember, the young people are affected in a very uh, more grave way. If we are affected by all these things we see, please realize the young people are affected even more so. And some of them may actually be losing hope. I mean, the kind of world that they see in the news, some of them might not even see hope anywhere in the future. And that's why we teachers have a more important role now more than ever, especially in giving hope to the young people. Please realize many of them come to our classroom with many other more urgent concerns, worries, problems than just your subject. In fact, many of them, when they enter our classroom, they are not thinking about math. They're not thinking about science. They're not worried about English. They're not worried about social studies. They are worried about problems they hear in the news, at home, with bullying, with classmates, with friends who isolate them. It's not a surprise that now, more than ever, we hear more and more of depression, suicidal thoughts, of desperation. This is a very important thing to keep in mind as you enter the classroom next time around. In front of you are young people who are questioning many things about life, about the world, about the state of affairs, more than your subject. Okay? And that's why the topic today is teachers. You are not just hired by your school to cover the curriculum. Your school did not just hire you to cover the syllabus, to finish the textbook. Now more than ever, we need to think about the young people being entrusted to our care. That's the bottom line of this session. We are not just given subjects to teach, we are entrusted with young people to take care of, to prepare for the future. You see, the success of a teacher is not just to be able to say, ay napakagaling kong teacher, I finished the textbook. It's not just to be able to say, I'm a good teacher, I covered the curriculum. We reached the last chapter. We finished all the lessons included in the outline. Nice, essential, that's good. But that is not the most important thing. A good educator should be able to say at the end of the year, I am such a good teacher. My students are better human beings because I taught them math, I taught them science, I taught them English, but most importantly, I taught them to grow up to be good men and women of character, ready to face the world, whatever the world will bring to them, will whatever difficulties, challenges that life will bring with it. You see, this is the kind of work we have as teachers. I am engaged in the business of enhancing lives. That's the job of the teacher. It's not just to teach a subject. That's why if you go to my YouTube channel, there are dozens and dozens, more than 200 seminars there, recorded webinars that I gave. One of them is entitled Stop Teaching Subjects, Start Teaching Children. Because that's what we are doing. We are entrusted with people to take care of so that they will not just pass your quiz, but they will become good men and women of character. And that's the measure of a good educator. This session today is nothing else but that, an invitation to all of you to be the best teachers you can possibly be, because the young people need us now more than ever. The world needs us now more than ever. And for us to be able to do that, we have to form the character of our students. That's what a good educator does. You see, Dr. Marvin Berkowitz says this: character education consists in nurturing the flourishing of human goodness. And that's what we do inside the classroom. That is what a good educator tries to do inside the classroom, nurturing the flourishing of human goodness. That's why a good teacher is concerned that the students are sincere, upright, truthful, that they will not cheat, that they will not lie. A good teacher is concerned that the students will be respectful, responsible, courteous, honest, sincere, good. That's what we're trying to do. Stop teaching subjects and start teaching children. And good character, Good character education really is good education. So, if I look at the seminars you are given in your school, I can say if your school is a school of character or not. Do your teachers, or rather, does your school only organize seminars on uh, math, 21st century math, the art of questioning, how to make science interesting? Those are very good. Those are very nice. But does the school also offer us seminars on how can we make the classroom kind and caring? How can we make the teachers role model of respect and responsibility and kindness and goodness? Because that will tell you a lot about the priorities of the school. Catalyst has always been championing that. We have been going around reminding parents, teachers, schools, make character formation a top priority because this is where the crisis is. Now, I mentioned crisis, and now we also have to mention there is a mental health crisis going on in the world today, not just uh, in the Philippines, everywhere. After the pandemic, what followed was during the pandemic, there was the pandemic of isolation. And then after the pandemic and people started going back to the classrooms, there still was that pandemic of mental health crisis. It's happening everywhere. You have young people giving into despair, depression. This is what we are faced with. That's why we're going to also talk about in this series. We will also talk about managing the classroom, how to get the students do what you want them to do without you ever having to resort to shouting, screaming, yelling. Because there are effective strategies to be able to do that. That you will not have to be a terrifying teacher, a terror teacher. The young people are already going through so much outside there. Our classroom has to be a kind and caring place because they are grappling with this mental health crisis. Okay, so that problem of depression, and then a generation where the sense of entitlement is so strong. I mean, I'm sure you can uh, relate because you have seen students these past months of the school year, these past years of the school year of this your career as a teacher. You have seen how this sense of entitlement of the young people today has become stronger than ever. And then the self-absorption. I mean, this digital lifestyle that they are living, the kind of immersion in technology that they find themselves in, the selfie generation, the these are all part of the self-absorption that they end up being enmeshed in. Let me share with you my principles of education and the reason why I do what I do, the reason why I have championed character formation, um, which is our topic today. You, whatever subject you're teaching, are an agent of character formation. But Mr. Rentoy, I'm teaching PE. Yes, even you, PE teachers, should form character of the students. I'm a coach of the basketball team. Even more, sports is a very powerful way of forming the character of the students, of the players. Here, let me share with you my principles of education and the reason why um, I keep on talking about character, and we will be talking a lot about character in the next 5 sessions. Number one, every teacher, whatever subject you're teaching, grade 1, grade 12, college, sports, PE, you are an agent of character formation. Let me already share with you the most important method, strategy of forming character through the powerful example of your life. There's no other better way to teach character than through the power of our example. The young people are going to learn kindness when they see it in the teachers and in the adults. They're going to learn professionalism in the way you come to the classroom every single day professionally, punctually, on time. Many people get to know Catalyst as this group that starts on the dot. And we did it again today at exactly 3 o'clock. We started the session because even that is a way of forming people in punctuality, in order. There's no other better way to teach character than through the power of our example. That's why I already will tell you, teachers, please do not resort to shouting, screaming, yelling, insulting, hurting, or harming the students. I've met teachers who are like that. They think the harsher their words, the more disciplined the student will become. No, nowadays, that doesn't work. Maybe it used to work in the 1960s, but today, you shout, you scream, you yell, you hurt the students with your words, they will just be full of resentment. Sure, they may keep quiet at that moment after you shout, after you scream, they may keep quiet at that moment, but just give it a few more seconds, a few more minutes, and they will be back to making noise. Here are 3 things I always tell teachers, whatever subject matter of the webinar, of the seminar is. Number one, teachers, please do not ever use foul language, foul words, because when we do, our reputation plummets. And there goes your effectiveness as character formator, as agent of character formation. Here's number two, teachers, you have no right to get mad at the students who are late when they submit their assignment, who are late to come to class. If you yourself, ma'am, sir, are late in coming to class, late to submit your unit plans, late to return the test papers correctly, properly corrected to the students. In other words, we cannot demand, require from our students something that we do not first show with our example. And here's the third that I always say to teachers, teachers, please do not ever criticize your administrator, your principal, your school officers, because our job in our school is to get the students identify themselves with the spirit of the school. But if we ourselves are the first one to attack the people in the school, the spirit of the school, our school, then we lose that effectiveness in being able to get our students identify themselves with a school. Our example is very important. That's why Marvin Berkowitz says, you cannot not educate for character. There is no off switch for character education. As soon as you put an adult in front of the students, character formation starts happening, or character deformation starts happening. As soon as you put an adult in front of the young people, character formation or deformation starts happening. So that's very important to keep in mind. We are all agents of character formation because young people tend to copy, to imitate the adults. And we are the adults in front of the kids inside the classroom. You see, character education is not just another subject. A few years ago, when DepEd decided to bring back GMRC, for a while it was for a while GMRC was removed, no good manners and right conduct. But DepEd decided to bring it back. And some people were very happy because they started seeing the change in the young people. They were losing manners and right conduct. And then DepEd said, no, let's bring it back. But you see, character formation, GMRC, is not just another subject. It is what every good teacher tries to do our example, to do our timely reminders. For example, I always have this strategy that I always use. um, Before distributing the test papers, I announced to my class, okay, class, please do not even think about cheating. Okay? Eyes on your own paper. If you need to ask something, raise your hand. Wait for me to go to your desk. Don't ask your classmates because I will think you're cheating. Do not even think about cheating. You see, we're not just interested that they pass the test. We are interested that they are upright, that they don't cheat, that they are honest, that they are good. And that's whatever subject you're teaching. And that's not just another subject, it's what every good teacher tries to do. Or another strategy I have is to remind the students, okay, class, our exam is next week, Friday. Please do not wait until the day before to study. Prepare. Start preparing now, studying, reviewing, because we have to overcome laziness, because we cannot be, um, you know, uh, last minute preparations. And then before you know it, you have run out of time to finish studying and preparing for an exam. That too is part of character, of overcoming laziness, of having a sense of order, of having a sense of foresight, because education is not just about covering the curriculum. Good education is about raising young persons to become good men and women. So then, you and I, as teachers, are the most important teaching tool. It's not the video projector, because I've heard teachers say that if only we have a video projector in every classroom, I can teach better. Okay, yeah, if you can afford all those amenities, fantastic. But the video projector is not what will make the students become upright, good men and women of character. It's not the textbook, it's not the facilities, it's the teacher, the example of the teacher, the constant, frequent reminder to do good and be good from the teacher. All these things are what will make the students become successful. Dr. Thomas Licona, the grandfather of character education, on the basis of his two best-selling books, Educating for Character and Character Matters. And your certificates that you receive in this series bear the signature of Dr. Thomas Licona, who is my boss in the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Arts. He's based in Cortland, USA, in the State University of New York. But I am an affiliate of his institute, his department in SUNY, State University of New York. And this is what he says. The single most powerful tool you have to impact the student's character is your own character. Believe me, students tend to copy, imitate the adults, the teachers. who are many times outside of the family, the first adults they meet. They tend to copy you, to imitate you, including your wrong grammar. I mean, that's um, just to drive home the point of our influence on the young people. And this is the reason why we have to be conscious of this, how we carry ourselves inside the classroom. At the end of every day, we in fact should be asking ourselves, if today I am the only model, example for my students, what example did he catch? What example did he learn from me? They observe us and they tend to imitate what they see in us. The way we react to situations, the way we express our frustration, because it's possible a teacher can get frustrated one day. After checking the papers, the teacher realizes more than half did not do well in the quiz, in the test. How do you react in that situation? That is a teaching moment. That is a character formation moment. How we celebrate our class was champion in the intrams, in the Sabayang Bigkasan, in the how do we react at that moment is a teaching character formation moment. It's a teaching moment. So then, example is not another way to teach. It's the only way to teach many times. Impact. Teachers universally say they go into teaching to make a difference. You, teachers, more than make a difference, you are the difference. As we said earlier, really, you were not just hired to cover the curriculum, you were hired to impact lives. I mean, I want you to go back to why did you decide to become a teacher? Why did you choose to be a teacher? We have all different reasons, right? Why I decided to become a teacher. Some of you, because you said maybe you thought, I want to change lives, and teaching can change lives. Some of us decided to become a teacher because we thought we were experts in our subject matter and we want to share our expertise with the younger ones. Well, at this point, I have to go back to the idea I started with in the beginning of this presentation. We are being invited to stop and think, I teach because I make a difference in the lives of my students. I can make an impact in the lives of my students. Not so much to teach third grade or history or PE, but to influence lives. This is what we are. So, build character, and effectively, we're going to build culture. Without teachers, our young and upcoming generations would find themselves in a much darker place. It's already dark at this point, as we pointed out at the start, with all this news of corruption, wars, politicking. I mean, the political scene is so messy, so dirty, so dark. Maybe some young people may even have the wrong idea that I want to be a senator when I grow up so that I can have millions in the bank, in my bank account. Maybe that's already what formed in their minds. I want to be a contractor because that is where I can get billions, which is all skewed distortions of truth and what is really good. That's how dark the world had become for the young people. Now more than ever, they need us. They need you. They need us especially to teach them. No. Desire to be a politician, a public servant, so that you can do good, so that you can help the poor, so that you can uplift the lives. of many people, not to enrich yourself. And this is how things go. Teachers, we affect eternity. No one can tell where our influence stops. Here's the crazy thing. When table is ruined, it's defective. It's very easy to say, "Ugh, who made this table? Return it to the carpenter, return it to the factory, return it to the shop." It's very easy to do that, to say that. But when a person grows up to be bad, corrupt, dishonest, thief, liar, can you say, sino bang grade 5 teacher niyan? Ibalik nga yan sa grade 5. Ibalik nga yan sa grade school. Who taught these politicians values? Return them to their grade school. We cannot. Unfortunately, we cannot say that. How we wish we can, right? I mean, how we wish we can say this thieves, these robbers, these dishonest people, return them where they came from. And this is the point. Teachers, you have 1 year, in fact, only 10 months, that you can influence these young people to be upright. But yes, you can. Even the 10 months is more than enough time if a teacher is an effective agent of character. Remember, this is the topic that we're talking about today, teachers as agents of character formation. So I repeat, the seminar today is nothing else but an invitation. Teachers, let us start really teaching, forming character of our students. After all, students have been entrusted to our care. I'm sure you've come across this quotation. Students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I'm not a fan of teachers who brag about their being valedictorian, summa cum laude, um, first honored graduates, but they shout, they scream, they yell, and they, I've seen teachers like this. Uh, Half of the class is failing, and the teacher will say, "Well, I don't care if even if more than half of you here fail. That's your problem." And no, ma'am, sir, it's your problem. Maybe there's something wrong with the way you teach. Maybe you don't know how to bring the lesson down to the level of the students so that you are able to lift them up, because really, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And this is the reason why we are here as teachers. We want to be the best teachers we can possibly be, not just teaching well, because that is part of showing good example, the power of our example to teach professionalism, good job, good work, industriousness, hard work, but especially because that is the way to form the character of our students. So then, we have to be catalysts. The company is called Catalyst for Professional Development Services. And that is what we teachers have to become, catalysts. A catalyst teacher believes in the power of positive teacher-student relationships. One of the things we talk about in Catalyst is primed for character education, the 6 design principles of Dr. Marvin Berkowitz. Primed, which stands for prioritization, that we make character formation a top priority. Relationship, which is this number 1 now, building a relationship. I is for intrinsic motivation, internalization. that students will do the right thing, not because you're threatening them with punishments or offering them with a reward, but because they want to. They internalize it. There's intrinsic motivation. M, and we've already been talking about it, modeling. The only effective way to teach character is through the power of our modeling virtues, goodness, values. Empowerment is letter E. We have to empower everyone in school. We have to empower the student leaders so that we are able to push character formation as a team, everyone together, empowered. Everyone is empowered to champion character formation. Sorry about that. And then we have the letter D, developmental pedagogy. Developmental pedagogy because character formation, um, because character formation does not happen overnight. It will have to be, um, it will happen developmentally. Just give me. Okay, sorry about that. So, a catalyst teacher believes in the power of positive teacher-student relationships. Number two, a good teacher who really wants to make a difference in the lives of the students creates a supportive classroom environment. That's why one of the topics we're going to talk about in this essential series is creating a kind and caring classroom. The classroom has to be like a haven of support, of caring, of kindness for the students. The world may be so dark outside, but they know when they enter the classroom, they will be supported. They will have teachers who care enough for them, who sincerely, seriously, genuinely is interested in their success, in the real sense of the word success. Number three, we have to foster ethical values and social responsibility. I was talking about politicians earlier and the influence of the teachers, and I cannot help think maybe if those politicians had better teachers who really prioritized character formation, we would not have to deal with these trillions of pesos being robbed, stolen because of cheating politicians, because of dishonest public servants. How the Philippines is going to be 20 years from now greatly depends on what you and I, the teachers, are doing inside the classroom today. How the world is going to be 20 years from now depends a lot on what we are doing in the classroom today. So, we want to solve this crisis. The solution is in our hands. We should not fail to remind students about honesty, uprightness. You know, if you know that uh, if you know that inside your classroom now is the future president of the Philippines. I don't know, by dint of crystal ball or prophet telling you, do you know that inside your classroom today is one of them is going to be the future president of the Philippines? How will you teach your class if by dint of, I don't know, gift of prophecy, you are able to determine that inside your classroom is the future president of the Philippines? How will you teach? How will you handle the class? I'm I'm sure you're not going to say, "Oy, the future president is here. I better give a lot of assignments. I better give a lot of Drills? Of course not. I know what you're going to do. If you know that inside your classroom is the future president of the Philippines, every opportunity you can get, you will talk about love for the poor, being honest, being upright, being good, not cheating, doing good, even if it is difficult, even if others are not, even if no one is watching. You will talk about character as much as you can because you're preparing the future president of the Philippines. That's what you will do if you know you're preparing the future leaders. Well, you don't need a crystal ball. You don't need a gift of prophecy. Start teaching like you are preparing the future DPWH workers, the future Commission on Audit staff. Start teaching like as if you are preparing the future senators, congressmen, and presidents of the Philippines. That's what we will have to do. That's what good teachers of character will do. That's what great educators will do. Given the kind of crisis we see in the world today, depression, suicidal thoughts of young people, here's another thing that a good teacher would do. We will develop resilience and growth mindset among our students. Well, tomorrow, um, that's one of the things we will be talking about: grit, resilience, and empathy. And the resilience is one of them because it's one of the virtues in crisis, given the mental health crisis we see, given the kind of world that the young people are growing up in. If kids come to us from strong, healthy, functioning families, it makes our job easier. If they do not come to us from strong, healthy, functioning families, it makes our job more important. I'm sure many of you will agree with me. We have more and more students coming inside our classroom, and they come from dysfunctional families. They come from broken families. I mean, we have more and more cases like that. Now, maybe it's not broken families. It's not that the parents separate. It's just that the mother is in Dubai, the father is in Saudi. They're working abroad. 11 million Filipinos working abroad right now, and many of them left behind their kids of school age. Now, it's not to malign the OFWs. All the OFWs I know decided to take on that work because they want a better life for their families. They want to give more convenience to the family. But you and I, as teachers inside the classroom, dealing with the kids, no, it's just different if the parents are present. It's just different if the parents are not absentee, if there's supervision of the parents at home. I had a student before who was being raised by the lola because both parents preferred to be able to work abroad to send dollars back home. But even worse, I had a student who's being taken care of by the neighbor because the parents want to be able to send dollars back home. And the lola and the neighbor are just not the perfect supervisor to the kids. I mean, uh, it's different if the parents are really there, attending to the kid, disciplining the kid, making sure that their son, their daughter does not um, play computer games until 2 a.m. So, what happens now? You see it inside your classroom. You have students coming in sleepy, very sleepy, lack of sleep because there's no supervision. proper supervision at home. So that makes our job more important. Here's number five: a catalyst teacher. A good, great educator will cultivate self reflection and emotional intelligence. You see, this is part of building character. Whatever subject you're teaching, we are concerned about the students being able to do self reflection and develop emotional intelligence, that they're capable of facing failures properly, challenges, difficulties, hardships, that they will not complain just because the subject matter is difficult. We, as teachers, we motivate them, we help them develop emotional intelligence. Most importantly, and this really encapsulates everything else, a great educator is a great character teacher, because whatever subject we're teaching, we make it a point to insert values, virtues, character. In the first place, as I said earlier, to do the powerful example of our life in the way we carry ourselves inside the classroom. But whatever subject you're teaching, you find a way of bringing in lessons on being good and doing good. That is what a good educator, a good character educator would do. Well, we have a few minutes left, 15 minutes left in this session. Let me share with you Kohlberg's 6 levels of moral development. Kohlberg studied, why do people do good? Why do people um, practice virtues and choose to do what is right, what is moral? And Kohlberg discovered the following: people go through 6 levels of moral development. And the first and lowest level is this: I will do good because I don't want to get into trouble. Because mom said she will detain those who misbehave. Sir said he will give deduction in the grades. So I better behave because I don't want to get into trouble. That's the lowest level. And we sometimes can be fostering this. When teachers say, class, you better behave, huh? You better behave, or else. Yeah. When we say that, we are fostering the lowest level of moral development. They are just going to behave because they don't want to get into trouble. Here's the second level, according to Kohlberg. Why do people behave? Because mom said we will watch a movie if we all behave. Because I want to get the star, the stamp of the star the teacher gives before dismissal. I want a reward. Like kasi bribing them to do good. And again, some teachers fall into this trap by offering all sorts of, okay, class, if you will behave, we will have a donut party, pizza party. I want a reward. Well, at least this is already better than doing good simply to avoid a punishment. But we can do better than this. The author of this, Kohlberg's application to classroom setting, his name is Rafe Esquith. He said, but teachers, we can do better than this, especially because there's a problem with I want a reward. In real life, in fact, many times, you know that no matter how well you do your job, sometimes the reward doesn't come. I mean, sometimes there's no reward. Does that mean you will stop doing the good? No. Here's a third level. Why do people do good? And Kohlberg discovered here's level 3. Better than 1 and 2 levels, but still not as the best. I want to please somebody. And you have students who are like this. They study hard because they want to please their parents. And you have students who are like this inside the classroom. Ang tawag natin sa kanila, sip-sip. Just trying to please the teacher. Again, Rafe Esquith would say, I mean, at least this is already better, no? Doing a good thing in order to please somebody instead of just because of avoiding punishment or wanting to get a reward. But we can still do better than this. Here's the fourth level of moral development, which people, Kohlberg says, goes through. Fourth level is I follow the rules. Very nice. And there are people who are like this. They follow the rules. I mean, can you imagine a world where everyone follows the rules? What a nice world it would be, no? However, Rafe Esquith says, yeah, very nice. At least it's better than the first three levels. But you see, in real life, heroes are heroes because they broke rules. They went beyond rules. Sometimes there's more to life than just the rules. Even Jesus Christ broke rules when he performed miracles on a Sabbath. But the Jewish law prohibits it. But sometimes there's more to life than just rules. You see, that's why fourth level, while it's very good, well, we can still do better than this. Here's level five, according to Kohlberg. I am considerate of other people. I'm not going to be noisy, not because there's punishment, but because I have to listen to the teacher who worked hard to prepare for this lesson. I have to be considerate of the sacrifice of the teacher. I have to study hard. I have to be considerate of my parents who pay for my tuition. Not just because there's a reward, not just because I want to please somebody, not just because I'm following rules. I have to be considerate of my parents, of my teachers, of other people. Wonderful if we can get students to reach this level of being considerate of other people. And this is the cure to the sickness that we see in Philippine society today. If only those corrupt politicians thought more about the good of the poor, the good of the people. I mean, when politicians, when government employees steal from taxpayers' money, the ones who suffer the most are the poor because that taxpayers' money is supposed to be in the service, especially of the poorest in society. And that's why stealing, dishonesty, is a great inconsiderateness of other people. So it's not just about uh, it's okay to steal for as long as you don't get caught. That kind of mindset. No? But I have to be upright because I have to be considerate of the people who depend on this fund of the government, funds that's supposed to help the country. But the highest level of moral development, according to Kohlberg, is this: I have a personal code of behavior and I follow it. And therefore, a great teacher would discipline the class not by saying, class, you better behave or else. That's level one. Class, you better behave because I have a reward for you. That's level two. Class, come on, make me happy. Don't misbehave. That's level three. You better behave because it's in the school handbook, it's in the policy. That's level four. Hey, come on, behave. Be considerate of your classmates. That's level five. But even better, if teachers are able to say, class, you carry the name of the class, you carry the name of the school. Please behave inside the classroom and outside the school because you carry the name of the school. More and more, that is what we should be saying when we discipline students, when we make them do what we want them to do. Not because there's a punishment, not because there's a reward, but because you're carrying the name of the school. Good parents do that. Good parents say to their children, John, dala mo ang pangalan ng ating pamilya. You have to behave, okay? Which means the parents already discussed with their son, with their daughter, that our family is courteous, is kind, is caring, is hardworking. We have values. And that's how people should know us when you go out there. You have a personal code of behavior, you live by principles, we follow it. This is how a teacher of character would work hard to make the students reach the high levels of moral development, being considerate and having a personal code of behavior. So, teachers, more and more, what should come out of our mouth precisely are words like that. Class, come on, be considerate of the sacrifices of your parents, study hard, do the right thing. The same thing with the coaches, with the science teachers, with the math teachers. They will tell their students, class, come on, do very well, okay, in your exam, because you're carrying the name of your family, the name of your school. Have that consideration for your parents, for your teachers who are trying their best to form you, not just to pass a subject, not just to pass a quiz or a test or the school year, but because they're preparing you to be successful in life in the real sense of the word. And when you say that, that makes our teaching vocation really noble. I mean, think about it. Who else can do what we do? Preparing young people to become successful in the real sense of the word success. Good men and women of character. Such is the nobility of our teaching profession. And this is the reason why it's worthwhile striving to be the best teachers we can possibly be, because the young people are counting on us, because we have such a noble profession. We make a decision today in this session. We make up our mind. Uh, Regardless of how you may have been as a teacher last year, or even just this past few weeks or past few months. Because let's face it, we were students for many years, and we've had teachers who were spectacular. But come on, admit it, you also had teachers who were mediocre, who were so so, who were nothing memorable. I mean, you don't even remember an impact they had on you. Some of you maybe decided to become a teacher because there were some teachers you had that really left a mark, an impact in you. That's why you decided to become a teacher. Today is an invitation. I am being called to be the great, best um, educator I can possibly be. It's a choice. What will you be in the next few weeks, in the next few months of the remaining time of this school year, or in the many more years that we're going to spend in our life as educators? I choose to be the best teacher I can possibly be, not a mediocre one, not an average one, not even a good one, but a great one. Great teacher who will make it a point that every single student that is entrusted to them will end up to be a man or woman of character because of our example, because of the way we teach, because of how we carry ourselves as teachers. Okay, well, we've reached the end of our session today, Teachers as Agents of Character Formation. And Mr. De La Cruz, our Catalyst staff, is going to post in the chat box the link to claim the certificate for this session. For those of you who are more um, techie, you can scan the QR code so that you can get to the Google form, just fill it up, and then you're going to reach the Google form, fill it up, and as soon as you click on submit, just wait a few seconds. You should receive in your email, in your inbox, the certificate for this session. Okay. Very well. And if I know some of you, I know there's a group that's attending as a group. So maybe one of you will have to copy the link that is given there. And then, yeah, you can share it with the others later on. Okay. Well, let me see. Only one so far. Okay, there are now two that have filled up the form. Make sure you write your email address correctly, okay? Because if you make a mistake in the email address, you will not receive the certificate. It will automatically generate the certificate and send it to the email address that you input in the Google form. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us in this first of five seminars. I'm going to